So, what you got? DeJounte Murray and Josh Primo.
DeJounte Murray deserves to be an All-Star.
Yeah.
Snubbed. That's why I hate fan voting to begin with.
Yeah, because we were talking about earlier the fucking Wiggins, I think. Wiggins is fucking on there. And then people were voting Klay Thompson and Kyrie when they just fucking came back.
Derrick Rose, too.
Yeah, Derrick Rose shouldn't be on there.
I love Derrick Rose. He's my favorite player of all time, but no, he should not.
He's not an All-Star this year compared to the other people we have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like the fact that John Morant and LaMelo Ball are on there. I like
John Morant's a monster.
Yeah, I like that John Morant's on there. I like seeing the younger All-Stars. And yeah, I was gonna talk about John Morant, but let's do that in a minute because we gotta talk about Gregg Popovich and answer Ryan's question. So I don't wanna leave Ryan's question unanswered for too long. I wanna engage with the chat here. So he says I was gonna talk about how Gregg Popovich is 10 wins away from the coaching record right now, and I can pull up their schedule. So I'll ask you when you think they're gonna break it, because again they're 10 wins away, but their next 10 games is OKC, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Houston, Memphis, Chicago, Phoenix. How many is that? That is 8. So then Golden State and Miami.
I'm gonna say right now, they lose out.
You don't think they're gonna beat it this season?
Nope.
I think they'll still get it this season, but they are facing difficult teams. They're playing. I think they'll win against OKC. That's a win.
Don't you dare say
What?
Don't you dare say the Rockets.
No, they'll win against the Rockets.
No, they don't. No.
With DeJounte Murray back, yeah. Don't mess with the mouse. You're gonna click something.
I know this is bothering the fuck. There you go.
Yeah, I think they'll win against OKC. Then they're gonna lose against Brooklyn. They'll probably lose against Philadelphia. I think they'll win against the Rockets, to be honest. So that's 2 wins. They'll lose against Memphis, Chicago, Phoenix. Then you got Golden State, they'll lose. Miami, they'll lose. Rockets can either be another win or another loss. So you can either count it 2 or 3.
You got 0. I'll tell you that right now.
Nah, bro. They'll win against fucking OKC.
Oh yeah, they'll call it. No, they won't
So,
win against the Rockets.
Either 2 or 3 wins. You can call whichever way you want. And then Cleveland, they'll probably lose. Atlanta, what do you think about Atlanta? With Trae Young.
Atlanta's tough.
But they just traded away Cam Reddish, though.
Yeah,
They're fucked.
They traded away Cam Reddish because he was expendable.
Yeah, but now they have, like, no good big men. Other than Clint Capella.
Danilo, no?
What?
Danilo Gallinari.
What?
Danilo Gallinari.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck are you saying? I don't know. I think the Hawks kind of fucked themselves by trading away Cam Reddish.
Yeah, he was. I wanted the Rockets to trade for him.
We'll win against the Pelicans. So that's 4 wins. OKC again.
Okay.
Washington again. Washington.
Washington's tough.
Washington will be tough, but I think they can maybe do it.
Kuzma's been balling out.
Yeah. So we'll say
4 words I never thought I'd say in my life. Kuzma's been balling out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here.
Fucking hell.
So we're on 4 or 5 now. Lose against Miami. Lose against Memphis. Win against the Kings because they're the fucking Kings.
Yeah.
So that's 5 or 6.
Okay.
Then you got
sorry.
maybe Toronto in March 9th. Maybe Toronto. You got to deal with Scotty Barnes, but
that's about it. They might trade away Chris Boucher.
So that's 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Pacers. You got Sabonis to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're still on 5 or 6.
Okay.
Or are we on 6 or 7? I don't remember.
6 or 7.
Okay, 6 or 7. So then you got OKC again.
Okay.
That's 7 or 8.
Okay.
Pelicans again. That's 8 or 9.
Okay.
Golden State they'll lose. Portland they'll lose.
Dame is out. Remember?
What?
Dame might be out for the year.
So then if Dame's out, that's 9 or 10 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Pelicans again. That's 10 or 11. Rockets, I don't know. You know. And then you got Portland. So, yeah, I think they'll win it this year.
Yeah, now that you mentioned the opponents.
It'll take until almost the end of the season because of the teams they're playing, but
Popovich didn't get that record.
Yeah, bro. I'm going to try and take my friend to the game where I think they'll win it.
Ooh.
Because my friend's never been to a basketball game before. And so I think it'd be fun to take him to the game where the record gets broken.
You got to get tickets ahead of time, bro. That game is going to be legendary.
Well, that's the problem is, like, it's so far out in the future, we still don't know what game it's going to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I order tickets for, like, March 9th and he breaks it, like, March 7th or, like, March 12th, then it's like...
Yeah. So see on the lookout for that.
Yeah. So, leading that into Ryan's question, Ryan says, Gregg Popovich or Phil Jackson?
David Fisdale.
Who do you have for better coach or winning stability when it comes to a team and coaching style such ability to get them a ring? I think I'm maybe biased because I'm a Spurs fan, but easily Gregg Popovich. Excuse me.
Stability,
Sorry.
I'll give it to Gregg Popovich. I mean, the man's been winning for damn near forever.
Yeah.
But... And he's had talent, but if you were to give me Phil Jackson's best team against Gregg Popovich's best team,
yeah,
I give it to Phil Jackson.
I like Gregg Popovich because there's a saying that's been said by many Spurs fans, which is Tim Duncan needed Pop as much as Pop needed Tim.
Yeah.
So Pop is an amazing coach, and you know, he's not just a coach, and that's what I love about him. He's not just a basketball coach.
He's a leader of men.
He grows his players into men, even though they're all already adults, obviously. But you know, he makes them better men, and he's not just a coach. Like there's that Tim Duncan story when Tim Duncan was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Tim Duncan was like he sat and he had dinner with me one night, and he felt like he was almost my father. Is what Tim Duncan is. He says something along those lines. It's not the exact quote, but so yeah, Pop is more than just a coach, and that's why I think he's the better coach, because Pop is a different level.
Yeah, but
Pop is a different breed.
Sure, but you look at Phil Jackson, you know, dealing with Jerry Krause, dealing with Dennis Rodman just deciding to disappear. The fact that without Michael Jordan, basically ran the triangle system to a perfection.
Yeah.
The fact that he was doing good without Jordan.
Yeah.
And then he went on to LA and did what he did with Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. But again, again, you could argue the same thing you just said about Pop earlier, which is like, you know, Pop had talent. But it's like, I feel like
Phil had arguably the better talent.
Yeah, and then we also said, though, the thing with that is Tim needed Pop as much as Pop needed Tim. I don't think the same thing is true with Phil Jackson. I don't think MJ needed Phil as much as Phil needed MJ.
Who was MJ before Phil? Who was Kobe before Phil?
We don't know because they were drafted to those teams. And we don't really know with Tim either because Tim was drafted to the Spurs, but...
That's true, because, I mean, that's tough, but
I think I'm going with Pop.
I had to go with Phil.
Really?
Phil.
Nah, I think it's Pop.
Brilliant, man. Dude's a legend. I have the utmost respect for Coach Pop.
Speaking of...
But Phil's up there. Wait.
Yeah, I thought you were done. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Speaking of Pop, though, and coaching... What do you think the Spurs' future looks like when Pop retires, and how early do you think Pop will retire? Because his contract is up next year, so he's still got one more year to go. But we said that he's going to break the record probably by the end of the season. And then also Steve Kerr came out and said that Pop is no longer going to coach the U.S. teams at all. So do you think after 2022 Pop's calling it done? Or because Pop has come... The problem with predicting this is Pop said, you know, I want to coach for like 8 more years or whatever, but I don't think he can.
No. Here's my thing, and I'll use just a quick football thing. Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, guy's a legend there. You know Pittsburgh loves the guy. You know, yesterday he just played his final game as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and he went out in such an embarrassing way. He was blown out. He lost in the playoffs first round, and he ends his career a loser. He's never had a losing season in his career. But I look at Gregg Popovich. Once he breaks the record, there's nothing for you to prove. I mean, you've proved it all. You're one of, if not the greatest coaches to ever step on an NBA court. There's nothing left for you to prove. The stress of being a head coach is unbelievable.
Not to mention, he never even played. You look at coaches nowadays, like Steve Kerr and stuff. Mm-hmm. Steve Kerr played. Pop just came in and Pop was like, I'm the coach now, and he fucking did everything right, and he never even, fucking wore a jersey for any team. So,
to me, my Coach Pop, you've got nothing left to prove.
Yeah. But the problem is I don't know what's going to happen to the team now, because I was really hoping we would keep Becky Hammon, because I actually liked what Becky Hammon was doing. I was watching whenever I would go to the games in the stadium. I would look at the sideline and kind of look at what she's doing. She was coaching exactly like Pop. She was asserting herself. She wasn't, not to get into politics and stuff again, but she wasn't gonna be pushed around as the quote unquote woman coach. Mm-hmm. She was I have the means to do this, and I'm not gonna let anybody tell me otherwise. I'm a fantastic coach, and I'm not gonna let you tell me that I'm a bad coach just because I'm a woman. And she's been able to prove that, and she's shown that, and I think she would have been an amazing coach for the Spurs. And unfortunately, she left, so I have no idea what is in store.
She's headed to WNBA, right? Or she's already there?
Which I thought was not gonna happen. I was hearing the rumors and stuff. I was there was the rumors, she could go to the WNBA. And I was like, but why would she do that, though? Because she has an amazing, she has an amazing mentor under Pop. And she can take over this franchise. And then also she could make history, again, as, the first female coach in the NBA league. And then she was just like, nah, screw all that. I'm going to go get more money in the WNBA.
Here's my thing. Was she ever going to get a shot?
Yeah. I think that's the problem, because again, obviously a lot of people were saying she's waiting too long or whatever, but we just talked about if Pop broke the record this year, then he has one more year on his contract and then he's out, and then Becky can take over.
Or maybe not, because I look at I'm gonna go back to football. Houston Texans fired their head coach David Culley. He was 66 years old. He's been coaching since the 90s. He waited damn near 34 years to be a head coach. Barely got to be one at 66. Fired after 1 year. You look around the league, you only get one shot. Dwayne Casey was fired after he won Coach of the Year. If you go somewhere once and you do bad, you're not going to get another chance out there.
That's exactly my point, though. That's what I was saying, is I was watching her on the sidelines, and because Pop is so old and such a great mentor, because again, he's not just a basketball coach, he was the coach's coach. I was watching Becky on the sidelines, and Becky sometimes was coaching the team more than Pop. She was getting that experience in. She was asserting herself. She knows how to play the game. She knows what the fuck she's doing, and she was proving that she knows what the fuck she's doing. And I feel like she has all the tools there. She's already has the team chemistry with all the players on the league in the team. Because, again, she's been coaching with Pop being old. So it's I don't see how she could, quote-unquote, blow her shot or wait too long. I feel like all the pieces were set. She just had to wait one more year, and then she decided that's too long, and she could get more money somewhere else. It's you could have waited one more year, and it would have been fucking fantastic. It would have made history. Literally.
Here's my thing, though. Was it going to be one more year? I'm saying, Pop should retire after this year. Pop said 8 more years. Pop, taking,
Well, that's what I was asking
more.
You, so.
Is it? I believe it's riskier for her to be a head coach in the NBA.
But
because if she failed in the NBA, she wasn't going to get another head coaching shot anywhere else in the NBA. Assistant coach, maybe.
But here's the rebuttal to that, though.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting here as fans,
mm-hmm.
right, asking ourselves, how long is Pop going to stay around? You're fucking around the man X amount of hours a day. If you're with him, why don't you fucking pull up a chair, have a serious conversation with him if you're thinking about leaving, and say, Pop, how long are you willing to stay with this team? How much longer are you willing to stay with this team?
That's disrespectful.
No, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's weighing your options and having an honest conversation with Pop, who is a man that understands the situation and won't take it the wrong way because he knows what's at stake. He knows, like, he knows the league inside and out. He knows why she's asking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's disrespectful at all. You just ask him, get an honest answer, and be like, if it's too long, then I'm out. If it's not that long, then okay, I'll stay. But I want to hear from you how long you think you're going to stay, because you can get an answer from him because you're around him all the time. We are in a different situation because we're just fans watching the game. But if you work with him and you're thinking about leaving because you don't know how long he's going to stay, fucking ask him.
Yeah.
And again, you run the risk of maybe not getting an answer because Pop may not even know himself. Pop may be like, I don't know if I'm going to stay 1 more year or 8 more years. But at least you asked him.
Maybe that did happen. For all we know, that could
yeah,
happen.
for all we know, they could have had that conversation. But I'm just saying, if they didn't have that conversation, then that's what I would have done. Like, just ask the man.
My opinion still is, if Becky Hammond were to fill her first shot as a WNBA coach, she's more likely to get another shot as a head coach in the WNBA. She's more likely to have a second chance in the WNBA than she would have as an NBA coach.
So here's a good question I just thought of then. You're saying that she went to the WNBA because she didn't want to blow her shot in the NBA. Do you think that it's possible she makes a name for herself in the WNBA and then comes back to the NBA?
Fully agree.
Do you think it'll be with the Spurs or no?
I think so.
Really?
I think maybe she goes on, gets more money as a head coach in WNBA, waits for Pop to retire. When Pop calls it quits, homecoming for Becky.
So you think it's still possible, depending on when... Excuse me. Again, I've been drinking Gatorade all day, and I keep getting fucking air bubbles coming up. So you think, depending on when Pop retires, it's still possible that she takes over as head coach? If it's not in, like, the next, 3 years.
Yes. Unless something crazy happens to where Tim Duncan comes back and says, I'm fully committed to being a head coach in the NBA. Please please mentor me.
Yeah, but he was the assistant coach for a while, and then he said the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
What would be crazy is Manu's back. What if Manu was like, I'm going to coach the team now?
Unless something drastic like that happens, I think she's just waiting.
Yeah. So if Pop does retire in the next year or two, while Becky's still in the WNBA, who do you think is going to fill that role? Do we move our other assistant coaches up? Do we pull somebody from
David Fizdale or
team?
Luke Walton?
I would like Mike Budenholzer back. Mike Budenholzer was
that's right.
I know he's been bad for the Bucks. People make fun of him on the Bucks as the coach, but he did win a championship, and I think he was kind of iffy on if he was going to keep his job at the Bucks, and he did work under Pop. And then again, you can go to another coach that was in the finals, Monty Williams.
Ooh, you know what? I have a better one for you.
What?
What if he takes a little bit longer than 5, 6 years? Golden State is done. Draymond's done. Curry's done. Clay is done.
You fucking skate Steve Kerr? That would be dope as hell.
Steve Kerr, a guy who is
with all the USA,
former Spur. Steve Kerr comes back.
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I would like to see that happen. That would be cool.
That would be dope, wouldn't it?
But yeah, that would be dope. I don't know the likelihood of it, but that'd be fun. What do you think of what I said though, like Mike Budenholzer or getting Monty Williams? Like if we paid Monty Williams a bunch of money to leave the Suns and come back to the Spurs.
They're too.
Because that's the thing about again, we were debating Gregg Popovich versus Phil Jackson. That's the thing about the league right now is that Pop is such an amazing coach that once Pop retires, half of the fucking league coaches right now we're also Spurs coaches, so we can hire from any other team.
Sure, Gregg Popovich's coaching tree is fucking probably second to none. I mean,
Yeah.
But to me, they're too good at what they're doing to stop.
Yeah, Monty Williams did a lot for the Suns, but what if CP3 pulls another trade and it's like, I'm out of here, or like Devin Booker leaves, or any of the other Suns leave, because Giannis isn't gonna leave the Bucks, so the Mike isn't gonna leave the Bucks if a Buck gets traded, because the Bucks just aren't gonna get traded.
Mm-hmm.
But the Suns could get traded. You were just talking about the Warriors like going away. What if the Suns go away?
I mean, Warriors isn't like, that's it. It's the end of the war. Curry retires, Clay retires, Draymond.
Like the franchise has been retired out. Basically, all your players are too old.
Yeah, basically that. And Steve Kerr's like, okay, I had my run with this, amazing Warriors team, which is one of the greatest dynasties of all time. They all called it quits. Where else can I go? Why not go back? I could see him be a coach of the Bulls, a coach of the Spurs.
Yeah, man. I get you.
I'd be interested to see that,
I'd be interested to see that too. So